Good day everyone, I am Deborah V. Cervantes from BSHM2B, and for today's video, I am going to discuss this following. So, without further ado, let's start this video and keep on watching guys.
Just like me, it's a good thing.
So, before we proceed to our discussion, let me shortly discuss to all of you the importance of ensuring guest safety and security. Every hotel and lodging establishment is responsible for ensuring the safety and security of their guests. The hotel management will be held liable for any accident or injury to guests caused by safety and security hazards that the hotel leaves unattended. Alright, so number 1 is the proper way to handle room keys. Handling room keys, one of the most important aspects of hotel security is key control. Without this, criminals and robbers can have the access to a guest room, putting the personal safety and vulnerable of the guests at serious risk. Some security measures that are being adopted in relation to key handling are as follows. Number 1. Change from the traditional keys to modern electronically operated or computer-generated keys. The traditional keys that are still in use among small and some medium-sized hotels are made of metal. The disadvantage of this type of key is that it can easily get lost and it is hard and costly to replace. Once the key is lost, even the locket has to be replaced. This is done for security reasons since the finder of the lost key can use the key in his possession to open the guest room. That is why hotels make it a policy that once a guest loses his room key, he has to pay for the loss of replacement, which include the key and the whole lock set. If the traditional key is used, guests are advised to leave their keys to the reception desk as they might misplace it or leave it elsewhere when they go out. This is not necessarily required and when electronic keys are used. Modern hotels now use an electronically operated key that is made of plastic and somehow resembles a playing card. It is filled with small holes on one end that the door lock could read when inserted. They are printed for each new arrival with a combination number designed specifically for each occupant. If the key is stolen, the lock shall be reprogrammed such that the existing key becomes worthless. There are electronic keys that are also used to activate all electric lights and electrically operated appliances in the room. Once used to open the room, all electrically operated units in the room are switched on, and once used to close the room, these units are switched off. This is certainly a cost-saving device and provides better security for the guests and the hotel. Electronic keys are replaced by many hotels in a key card or a key booklet. Inside is a pocket for keeping the key or even the guest ID. Information materials about hotel facilities and services. Rates and operating time may also be inserted in the pocket. The card or booklet is a very handy tool for keeping keys and guest ID and also serve as advertisement regarding hotel facilities and services. A sample key booklet containing key and ID is illustrated below. A more sophisticated key that is now in use among large hotels is a computer-controlled key that resembles a credit card and it is assigned special code when activated by the front desk. This key is pre-programmed with the guest arrival and departure information as well as other guest room information. When the guest checks out, the front desk can reprogram the key for use of the new occupant. Number 2 is, desk clerk should give the room key only to a registered occupant. If in doubt, ask for their guest ID or IDs must be issued to guests upon registration for proper identification. Number 3, never give the key to the guest joiner, visitor, or even his or her nearest relative unless there is a written authorization from the guest himself. Number 4, keys should be kept in key cabinets away from the sight of guests and the public. Keys that are exposed are vulnerable to losses. Number 5, keys for lockers and cabinets are to be in the custody of designated custodian or stock clerk. He shall return over said key to the duty manager at the end of his shift. Number 6, key custodian should never lend his key to anyone for allow someone to open cabinet and get stocks to it. Number 7, there must be at least 3 sets of room keys. 1 set for the guest, one for housekeeping and another one for the duty manager. Room boys, chambermaids, or room attendants are given a copy of the room key when they are assigned to do room makeup. Some hotels leave it to the floor supervisor to handle the key and open doors for room attendants when they are scheduled to do room makeup. Number 8. And receiving and returning keys, always log in and sign in the logbook so that it's easy to trace who is accountable if ever it gets lost. Misplaced or lost keys must be reported immediately to the supervisor. If a room key cannot be found, change it or interchange the lock set of the room to another room and floor so that the finder cannot open the door. Guests who lose their key are charged for the cost of the key and the lock set. Turn over keys with proper endorsement. Let the receiving party sign and acknowledge receipt of said key. Number 9. If a guest happens to leave his key to his room and requests the front desk to have it open, it is important that the identity of the guest be verified first. The room should not be opened unless one is certain that he is indeed the registered occupant. In case of doubt, ask for his or her guest ID for proper identification. Never open room for joiners or relatives of guests unless a written authorization is made by the registered occupant. Like for example, may I take a look at your guest ID? Sir, ma'am. If one has to refuse a request, do it with tact and say, I'm sorry sir, but we can open a room only for registered guests unless he has given us the authorization to do so for his visitor or relatives. In this case, we have not received such authorization. Number 10. If the room attendant is asked to open a guest room, ask for the guest key just to make sure he is the registered occupant. Like, may I borrow your key, sir, so I can open the door for you?
So number 2 question is, what is safety deposit box and how it is used? So safety deposit box, it is installed for safekeeping of the guest valuables.
It is kept at the front office by the desk clerk of cashier who also serves as custodian. In some modern hotels, the safety deposit box is located inside the guest room and the key is given to the guest along with the room key upon check-in. Second, the safety deposit box can be availed of by registered guests free of charge through the reception desk. Number 3, to avoid it or to avail of the safety deposit box, the guest shall fill out the SDB or safety box registration card and indicate his or her name, room number, and specimen signature. The SDB card contains the terms and conditions governing the use of safety deposit box. Deposit box at the front desk are given an SDB key. This key and that of the master key must be used together to be able to open the safety box. Number 5. Each time the guest wishes to access his or her SDB, the custodian will give him or her an SDB access card. The custodian, after verifying the signature against the SDB registration card, shall get the guest SDB. Using the master key and the guest key, the two custodian and guest can now open the SDB. 6. In releasing the contents of the safety deposit box, the owner's identity will always be identified through his or her SDB registration card. Upon release of the valuables, the owner shall be given a SDB release card for him or her to fill out. Then he or she surrenders the key after receipt of the valuables. Guests who reports lost items shall be assisted with the housekeeping staff in searching for their lost item at the lost and found section. The logbook should be checked for report on lost valuables.
Number 3 question, what should be done if a property is lost? Dealing with losses of guest valuables.
Guests who reports lost items shall be assisted with the housekeeping staff in searching for their lost item at the lost and found section. The logbook should be checked for report on lost valuables. Number 2. If not found, the matter is referred to security for investigation. Security officer gets details, description of lost valuable, time, place, etc. Check logbook of raving security if a visitor or joiner was spotted during the time of loss. Suspect of thief like room, boy, or chambermaid are investigated, and guest is informed of result of investigation.
Number 3. Lost items left by guests in guest room shall be surrendered to duty manager and lost and found procedure shall apply. The finder fills up the lost and found receipt below and sign it. The turns over the lost of and found item to the duty manager who will keep it in a designated cabinet for lost items. And when an owner claims for the item, the front desk shall ask for the description of the item and validates it against the ones written on the lost and found slip. Once the description matches, the one who recorded the lost item is turned over to the guest who will then sign in the lost and found slip.
So number 4 questions, what should be done to ensure security against possible threats? Security guests against possible threats and losses. Inside the hotel guest identity, room number, or whereabouts should not be revealed to anyone unless advised to do so by the guest himself as when he is expecting a visitor. Guests usually give instructions when they are expecting someone. Ask them the complete name of their expected visitor. Stricter measures must be implemented if a guest is dignitary, VIP, or government official.
Number 2. In the event that an unknown visitor asks for the room number or whereabouts of a guest, do not reveal it. Instead, do the following. 2.1. Ask the guest name. 2.2. Do not just say just a moment, as this gives us impression that the guest is really around. 2.3. If a room boy or housekeeper is asked on this matter, he or she must refer the matter to the front desk for disposition. 2.4. If you are desk clerk, do not give the number. Do number, then call the guest in his room and say. 2.5. If the visitor is not known to the guest and appears to have suspicious behavior, do not allow him or her to locate the guest. Number 3. All calls of house guests should be screened. 3.1. Ask for the name of caller. 3.2. Tell the caller, like, let me check if he is in the room. 3.3. Verify with the called party if he wants to certain the call. And 3.4. Turn over the line to the guest only if he says he wants to receive the call. Number 4. Advise guests or visitors, especially foreigners, not to entertain people nor transact business with unknown and suspicious persons. Number 5. Should you notice a suspicious joiner leaving the room of a guest, make it a policy to check with the guest for possible thief before allowing the joiner to leave the hotel. Many guests become victims of a syndicate whereby the guest is lulled to sleep with drugs, usually mixed with drinks, and then the visitor robs him of his valuables. Number 6. Visitors of guests are required to register and to be interrupted by the security for proper identification and to find out whom they are going to visit and the purpose of their visit. Number 7. Visitors entering guest rooms are monitored and their identification and time duration of visit is logged down by the roving security. Number 8. For security reasons, some hotels enforce a policy of not allowing uncertain joiners of guests in the room from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. This is usually written under the house rules for guests. And number 9. Joiners who are suspects for robbery are held for investigation until cleared for their liability.
Important notes when we encounter a bomb threat. So here are the handling bomb threat calls. Telephone operators must be very discreet in handling bomb threat and other related calls in as much as the security of the hotel and its occupants are at stake. When a bomb threat is received by a telephone operator, he or she should
Number 1. Keep the caller off the lines as long as possible to be able to get as many important information. Number 2. Ask important information and note them down in a bomb threat call sheet. Question to ask include: where is the bomb? What kind of bomb? When it is set explode? Where are you? Who are you? And why you are doing this? Number 3. Inform the duty manager right away and give him the details. Number 4. Duty manager will coordinate with the security office or with the police if they have no security office for appropriate action. Usually a bomb disposal squad is sent to make bomb search. If needed, there is a bomb that affected areas are condoned. And lastly, number 5. If the presence of the bomb is confirmed, the affected area is condoned and the occupants are advised to evacuate the area.
So that's all for today's video, guys. I hope that you've learned a lot and you like this video. So thank you for watching, guys, and see you on my next video. Bye bye.